guys, welcome to the first ever episode of Born to Pick. I am Iris. Right. So, guys, today we are talking about teenage pregnancy. Last week, was it last week or earlier this week? There's an article that was published in Citizen, which is a Kenyan newspaper. And it had really like staggering or shocking numbers of teenage pregnancies in the countries according to the counties. And one of the counties that was high up there was Machakos with 4,000 pregnancies, teenage pregnancies. And generally in the country, it was over 28,000 teenage pregnancies. So I want us
Oh,
to discuss that. Yeah, it's tricky. So
wait, that
yeah,
you said
um,
4,000.
4,000,
4,000?
that's in just one county.
Mm-hmm.
They had different numbers according to different countries. 4,000, that was just Machaco County alone. Some of the other counties that we saw whose numbers were up there. Let me just get the right numbers for you.
Hey, 4,000.
Yeah,
Well,
4,000,
actually,
that's just in
you
one
guys,
county
you
in
guys
Machaco
are,
County.
you guys
Hey,
are doing good. No,
don't throw
you're not sleeping.
don't point fingers yet.
Guys,
We don't know the
yeah, but
We
statistics
have
in
counties
Kenya.
like Isiolo, Kajiado that are really up
Mm-hmm.
there, and like generally in the whole country. And this is between January and June, I think, or January and March, within just a
Yeah.
short period. These are the numbers that have been recorded, and it's over 28,000 in Kenya alone. And we know this is not just a Kenyan problem because it's happening here in Uganda. It happens
That's
just
true.
generally, not even just in Africa, because you've got countries like the US where they have teenage pregnancies. So yeah, I just wanted us to have a chat about that.
First of all, I think it's very
What do you
disgusting.
guys think the causes are? And do you like? Of course, we know that this has always been there, but the numbers this time are a bit overwhelming.
I think it's very disgusting only because that these are numbers that we know. There are those that we
Yeah,
don't know. There are those that are not reported.
mm,
So you have 4,000
exactly.
girls. God damn, 4,000 girls. So for me, the thing that perturbs me most is that now who is to blame? Do we blame the parents? Do we blame the teachers? Do we blame society? Or like, because we can't say like this is a bigger problem than just narrowing it down to, let's say, men, or I don't know. Like who do we blame for this, you guys?
Mhm.
I feel like in general, it's society to blame. Because I mean, these innocent girls are getting pregnant by, men, right? So I don't want to like shift the blame and say it's because they
Okay,
were
I
pregnant.
see. I see where you're going.
Let me make it make sense. Huh?
Oh, okay. Fine.
Okay, it's in the sense that these girls are around home now, 24/7, as opposed to when they were in school due to the COVID and social distancing. Before they were in school, they probably fetch
Mm.
water and sit at the wells and probably come later on at night when their predators are probably, I don't know, preoccupied. But now some are even in boarding schools, right? So they are protected against predators. But now the fact that they are home 24/7, they can be easily taken advantage of, and then guess they don't even check that the men that do it, because the girls even fear God for this, for the sake of safety, and also for the sake of I'll get kicked out of home if I snitch. So I would want to say that it's because there are no other channels for them to actually avoid being sexually
It's
assaulted. Of clothes, they can no longer even move to their aunties, maybe the safe haven, maybe a church where they were taking refuge. So now they have to fend for themselves. So that's the tenacity in this rampancy of rape and pregnancies is quite alarming, actually.
it's interesting you
I
said
think
that it's
for me,
interesting that she said that there's social distancing happening right now, but these pregnancies are as a result
the
of
irony,
not
it's far from social distancing.
No, I said prior.
Get
ah,
out!
they have
Get
reduced
out! Use
they
the
No,
window
no.
behind you.
Okay. This is this is what I think. Like, even before COVID, I think there is I think there's it's like how you see this was a bomb waiting to go off. Just COVID was the opportunity. I just feel like partly one of
Batteries.
the reasons why like I just feel like one of the reasons why there's a rise in teenage pregnancy is because there's no knowledge on safe sex and what many would like to call sex education. So yeah, clearly
That's
because
sex.
these girls. No, guys, let me make my point. I see Iris, you're boiling to get in the hold up a bit. So I was saying, like safe sex knowledge, like these kids, because what safe sex knowledge gives you is the art of saying no, resistance, peer pressure, all those. It gives you the ability. It's like equipping you for war. I don't want to call sex war, but in this case it is. But so this knowledge equips you with that kind of knowledge to how to resist peer pressure, how to make sure when these men come your way. It's unfortunate that some of these teenagers get pregnant through rape and defilement, but also some of these, I don't want to call it consent because most of these are underage. They even don't know probably what consent means. So all that can be addressed through having sex education, which disappointingly is not coming from where it's supposed to come from in the first instance, which is probably from parents. So if it's not gotten from parents, they're getting it from peers, and the peers are not giving them the right information. So they'll just end up getting taken up anyhow. Thus, these cases rising. So, Iris,
I
you can now go
agree
ahead.
and disagree. Oh, sorry. Are you
Mm.
done? Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. It's okay.
Okay. So I agree and disagree with you.
Mm.
I agree with you in the sense that yes, there are some people who genuinely do not have access to, like, in certain poor communities, and you, like, let's be straight about that. In the schools we went to, every single term there was always a sex ed a sex talk, a sex ed class or something like that, and it
Mm.
was done like every single term. Like at some point you knew what to expect, like abstain, condoms. Do you understand? Like you could almost sing it as a song. Do you understand? But genuinely and truly, there are some schools within the countries we live in where that's the least of their priorities. They're like, listen, we don't even know who's going to teach us tomorrow. We do not know if we'll be able to do exams. So this sex talk of yours has got nothing to do with that. That's on one hand. But on the other hand, I feel like now more and more people are open about these conversations about sex, right? So in things
I
like
think they're open in the
some
wrong way.
clinic giving, no, not open in that sense. I'm open in the sense of telling you what to avoid, what consent looks like. Do you understand, like how
Mm.
to use condoms? There's some sex clinics, like not sex clinics. There's some clinics that give out condoms for free and things like that. There are actually some condoms that you find are free, like they're stamped or written on government
Not
property,
for
not for
sale.
sale, and things like that. Do you understand? So I feel like now maybe rather than 10 years ago, the information available is a bit more. Do you understand? In regard to that. That
I think
being said, that being said, I'm going to go to what you said about consent. Are you guys familiar with statutory rape?
That one.
That
what
one.
consent.
It basically says statutory rape. A minor cannot consent to rape. Do you understand?
True.
A
True.
minor cannot, it's not theirs to consent to, because according to the law they have not yet reached an age to have sex. So if you're 20 and your girlfriend is 17 or the other way round, and you have sex with them, that is statutory rape, because the minor, it's not their place to give consent. Do you understand? And I feel like that, because I was going on Twitter and whatnot and seeing some of the wild things that politicians and well-educated people in Kenya were saying about this. They were saying some people are blaming the music, and I understand there's some music that promotes rape culture. That aside, you cannot stand there and blame 28,000 pregnancies on music. That's just a joke. Other people were blaming on the culture because there's someone who posted
There are
a video.
a lot of underlying factors.
Yeah, there are a lot of underlying factors, and maybe the music is one
Uh,
of them. But then you can't stand there and just point out
uh,
one thing and ignore. Because if you remember when Manu started speaking in the beginning, he pointed out different things. Yes, there's an issue of men who genuinely take advantage of the positions they're in to protect these children, because a very big percentage of rape cases are not from strangers. You don't meet men on the road who just stop you and rape you. Sometimes that happens, but a huge percentage of these cases is someone's uncle raping them, someone's brother, best friend, cousin, and it's really disgusting. So we can't just stand there and say, oh, it's just men. Do you understand? Like, yes, men are the ones who impregnated these girls. But like Manu was saying in the beginning, it's a deeper conversation we need to have. Do you understand? Like, why are these men doing what they're doing? Like, honestly, in a country that has I don't know how many women, the girl that you thought could what's that eat your scratch? What do they say? Do you know that phrase?
eat your what?
Eat
Yeah,
your
eat your
scratch or
scratch.
something like that. Anyway, is it that bad that whoever who needed to fulfill that urge in you was an underage girl? Do you understand?
Well, I
Like,
think
couldn't you find at the worst case, couldn't you find like a prostitute who you could pay for that? Can
I
you not
think
really? Are you trying to say there's no girl in the whole country who's willing to have consensual sex with you? Do you understand? So it's very many issues, like Manu
Iris,
had said, and I feel like
yeah,
and I
yeah,
feel
sorry,
yeah.
go
like
on.
it's a
Barbie,
bit
you can go.
negligent for people
Mm.
in such positions with such authority to be able to bring about real change and educate people to stand there and blame one thing. Do you understand? Because there was
Well,
also a video that was going around Twitter of a group of there were a group of they looked like teenagers in a house and they were dancing and grinding on each other and what not, and then someone literally posted that and said, and you're wondering where the 28,000 or where these numbers are coming from. Like, they were trying to they were insinuating that
Hey,
basically all those cases were girls and boys who were just having consensual sex while drinking alcohol underage, which is not happening. Like, don't get me wrong. Some of these things have led us to where we are right now, but I feel like it's very negligent for people to stand and use the platforms that they have, platforms that could bring to change, and only pinpoint it at one thing. Do you
if
understand?
if you allow me to just come in, Iris, maybe
Yeah, sure.
also what you're not seeing is that in these stats, as much as we do have staggering numbers, we have 4,000 girls who are pregnant. We don't know if from those 4,000, how many are cases from rape, how many are cases from consensual sex between overaged or adults and underage children. Obviously, the girls are underage. Or we don't know if it's consensual sex from peers, right? And or abominations. We really don't have these numbers, right? So
What do you mean when you say abomination?
well, abomination is if when you say the father and the daughter, and the father just does things to the daughter, and we're just like, oh, abomination. We just can't allow these things to happen. Oh,
I see you watch some Nigerian movies and you know
I'm there. I'm there.
For the culture.
Yeah, yeah.
abomination.
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. No, no. So what I was saying is, we still don't know, and uh, we can't overlook the gravity of the situation in terms of when that said minister, or was it? I think it was Ezekiel Mutua. He's the
Yeah, I think it's the
Mutua.
one.
yeah. We can't
Kenya something.
we can't overlook the KFCD. We can't overlook
Yeah, KFCD.
at the contribution that content does to us. There's that that what is the word? There's that thing that it's within us. Like what we see is what we do. You know, I mean,
Magic bullet.
yeah, like like it's like what we see is what we do anyway. We see these things in movies.
Listen, I agree 100% with you, but I was just saying, because even people are telling me he's been fighting really hard to like cancel certain songs and remove certain content from YouTube, and I appreciate him for that. But what I was saying is for him to then stand, because he, with all the good he has done, right? And the platform that he has, for him to just say one thing like that, and before, until I had this conversation with someone, because I posted that tweet, the thing he tweeted, I posted it on my WhatsApp status, and someone told me the good he had done, and I didn't know that, right? So now for me, someone who didn't know much about that, to look at that statement, I was enraged. I was like, you're a whole person in power, and this is what you're saying. Don't get me wrong, content does influence a lot of what we do. You understand? That's how you find certain people behaving the way they're behaving, because they're trying to be a certain way, thinking that way is real, and they forget some of these things are just movies.
Sometimes it even happens unconsciously, like I mentioned.
That's the thing.
You find yourself conforming to something without even realizing that it's not right, but just because you've seen it.
That's true.
I want to narrow down to what Iris said about consent and authority for the underage girls, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's the lack of ability amidst our peers.
Sorry, say that again. Lack of?
Yes, and also the law enforcement accountability among our leaders. Say, for example, the guy that you said before, people are not being held accountable for their actions. You know what I'm saying? It's the sense that someone in power will do something and get away with it, or they won't even use the necessary platform to shame these people that take advantage of these little girls. I'm talking about the underage ones. Forget about the non-consensual, the consensual. Forget about that. I'm talking about these helpless girls who have nothing but their word against everyone else and people in power, to be particular. And then also that brings me down to you see how we interact with our friends, like we discussed earlier on. Our friends, we still maintain the kind of friendship with people that molest kids that do not know how to take a no for an answer. A girl says no, and then you want to smash her head with a skateboard. I think you saw that video that went viral on IG. So this girl says no to a guy, and that guy is like, "Oh, say no, huh?" And then he smashes her with a skateboard. So it's that kind of mentality that makes you question why you would stick around with an aggressor or someone that will actually molest a child.
Also,
do your boys check your other for behavior? So it's like it's rooted in the leaders with the prestigious, jobs and power. It's also rooted in the way we relate to and with each other. In the sense that why are you friends with a molester? Why don't you believe a girl when she says, "Oh, my body was tampered with"? Why is it? Okay, I mean, there are those that stage it, yes, but by the time a girl actually comes out to say, "My body was violated," it takes guts and the lack of accountability and the laws that actually are supposed to enforce and protect these girls. I feel like they should be amended.
But you see, the thing is, let me just say why I think I agree with Yona fully. And before we get to start blaming people, I agree with Yona because when he said about it's all about the education, I think it's even if it's tiring, we just need to educate these people because it's teenage. That's the word I'm trying to highlight there. Teenage pregnancies. We were teenagers once, you guys. You all know what teenagers can do. These people just can't listen. They don't want to listen. And you can be here saying it's the men taking advantage of them, but I've seen things in my lifetime that
you can't unsee.
Like just like, hey.
Not ones that are the teenagers, the ones that consensually are ill-advised about pregnancies. We're shedding light on each and everything. It's not like
on every category. That's why I said I agree with you in the beginning when you bundle when you say
You,
it's not just one issue, it's several people. Sometimes the girls
Of
themselves
course,
are, when I say are to blame, I'm not saying because they asked for it if they're raped, because some of them consensually have sex with people and don't use protection. Sometimes it's people taking advantage of their positions they're in. Sometimes, like we've said, being
mm,
people being influenced by the content they're consuming. So it's very many factors.
and
And
not to disregard what Yona said about
if
education. I agree
Yeah,
with your education because
I can't, I don't
going,
disregard it. Yeah.
yeah, but you
yeah,
see now
like we
it's education to
yes,
not
if
only the girls, it's education to the people,
exactly,
it's education
exactly.
A
to yeah,
hundred
You see,
percent, I
yeah,
agree with you. Yes.
yeah. Because
that's what I was saying, that when you educate and only educate the girls, you're educating them to defend themselves.
yes,
But why not educate those that cause the harm? You get? Why not educate those that cause the harm? And we're talking about the men, because it's obvious. Or one only
Mm,
gets pregnant unless you go for an artificial insemination, which I doubt is the case now. But whoever causes the harm is the men. You get? So
yeah,
if
yeah.
you educate the girls, you educate them to defend themselves,
Mm,
which is unfortunate, because in this era we're not supposed to be defending ourselves. Or, you know what I mean? It's
mm,
supposed to be a person's need. You know it. You're not supposed to force yourself on a person. You're not supposed to. Some of these are moral things, which also brings me back to the next point. Like, at what point do we start assessing ourselves individually? Because I think this is where the end point comes to, like, at the end point. Because yes, we might have the education, we might have the advice, we might read stuff, we might, because trust me, each and every one of us here has been exposed to explicit content, like either through movies, through things, through stuff we read. Iris, why do you have that smug that smile?
that,
We, everyone
that's
has been exposed, has been
moving on
exposed.
swiftly.
what
You
explicit
get
thing. It doesn't make you jump on people and take advantage of them.
exactly.
So for me,
That's the point. That's the point that I'm making. I'm saying at the end of the day, it goes back to you. Like I said last time when we had a conversation, that each and every one of us, Manu could attest to this. You see a girl and she's attractive. You get, she's hot, and you
I
you
don't
you
make
want to. No, like you get, you want to
no
know her.
no
You get, but 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 it all goes back to your personal, your integrity, your moral background and all that, which is important. So society in itself has played a role. You have to hold yourself accountable and have an individual say, because you can educate all you want, but a guy will still not have a problem with unfortunately bedding a 5-year old. We've seen these cases, and it's really
then
disgusting.
I agree with what you said. Like I'm 100% behind that.
Mm.
Extensively, I feel like the judicial laws that protect these girls should be made and I mean should really be implemented. That in case you are actually caught doing what you're not supposed to be doing, there are supposed to be repercussions. I'm not just talking about arrest him for 3 months and release him so he can go back to doing whatever shady things he's been doing. I mean like actual real punishment. So that's why these laws are put there. You realize if society, if we didn't have laws, people would be animals. They'd go around shooting people because they can get away with
but
it. So
but you see,
imagine if the law are sorry, I'm stammering. Imagine the law actually just implemented exactly what they say they are going to implement. I bet you these men would learn to keep their things in their pants because they know the repercussions
wow, you see,
Can I say,
of what it of what
sorry, go on, finish.
yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay. So something else I wanted to say is, I feel like definitely the system is also part of the problem.
sure,
If
sure,
we go
sure.
to the instances, let's say rape, do you understand something like that? Some of these girls, let's say they were, let's say whoever the rapist who, let's say in this case, has been living with them, has been doing this since, let's say, they were the age of 8. Do you understand? 8, 9, 10, maybe you haven't yet gotten your period, and man them keeps raping you. Do you understand? And then he reaches a point, obviously, now you get your period, and now you're able to get pregnant, and he rapes you, and then you get pregnant, and then probably it's you who's blamed. And the reason why I'm talking about that, the other day on Twitter, now this is not verified information, I got it off Twitter, so don't, I can't get for you actual
You
facts,
shouldn't
but
throw stones.
no, I'm not throwing stones. But then there was a thread of things that actual judges have said in court to rape victims, which obviously, if that is said to one person, or if your case is dismissed like that and you go back to your rapist, who's to say what's going to happen next? Do you understand? There was a judge who said something to the effect of obviously there's the whole classic, were you drunk, what were you wearing? In this case, some of these might not apply to some of the people we're talking about. Do you understand? And then there was this one that literally made my jaw drop to the ground.
Mm.
He said something to the effect of gosh, I've forgotten it. He said something to the effect of basically like oh God, I have forgotten. I'm going to look for it, and hopefully, if I remember within while we're still filming, I'll be able to tell you guys. But what I'm going to say is what I'm trying to say is, if the system is not able to protect such people, because some of these people, it's not that boom, today you're raped, tomorrow you're pregnant, done, it's done. Sometimes some of these things it's happening over and over again, and we've even heard of some instances where some of these girls are then forced to abort by their rapists, and then the cycle starts again, which is a very disgusting thing. But sadly, these things happen in the society in which we live. Do you understand? So I feel like that obviously rape is a bit of a hard case to prove, especially if it's that situation where if you weren't raped and you didn't go to the hospital immediately, there's a bit of like the scientific evidence, in this case the semen of the man and things like that. So it's normally a case of he said, she said. And I know there are some women who obviously use it against people, like,
See,
oh, you like
Harris,
me, I like you, you
Harris.
don't like me back, so I'm going to go. Let me just finish just 1 minute.
Okay.
And why I'm saying it's a bit of a hard case to prove is, sorry, what I'm trying to say is, aside from crazy human beings who are able to use that against people, I don't understand why I would put myself in such a situation to go in front of someone and say I was raped and say this and this happened and come up with an elaborate story if it did not actually happen. Do you understand? That's why I feel like sometimes people are dismissed way too quickly.
Yeah.
It's a
For lack
difficult
of evidence.
it's a difficult ball game altogether. I mean,
It is
when
difficult,
you
but
bring
I still
the
feel
law,
like there's something better that can be done to bring justice
yeah,
because something else is going to happen. Something else is going to happen. So this girl is now pregnant. Obviously, what is the rapist going to do? Find another young girl to prey on. Do you understand? Which is so sad.
And it all starts with setting an example, a precedent, like just one case scenario where you can be like, justice was actually served. That is going to be like the standard of what of the steps to protect these girls. But until that a precedent is set and like an example, someone has to pay like accountability. Until that is actually done, people are going to keep walking away free from doing whatever it is they feel like.
if you ask
not to play not to play the devil's advocate.
Yes.
I know you want to, Yona, go ahead.
No, okay, this is
Yeah,
not to play the devil's advocate. No, okay. That's why I put a disclaimer. Not to play the devil's advocate.
You guys, it took George Floyd's death for people to actually stand up for BLM, like to actually riot. You understand? So it just takes that one case to impact change.
I was going I was going to mention exactly. I'm for justice, definitely. But the
Come on, Lucifer,
problem
tell
is,
us.
you see, the problem here comes to when you choose to go the way of the law, you play by the rules. It's unfortunate, like I mentioned earlier. Most of the cases that happen, mostly rape and defilement, these cases are not reported because people don't believe in in what? In the systems. For example, police, and the victims are not handled right. So when you take the case before the judge has to make the verdict depending
Based
on the
that is given.
evidence
Yeah,
that is given.
yeah,
It's unfortunate, but that's
yeah.
how the law works. If you
That's
choose
how
to
law,
go
yeah.
the law's way, you
That's
have to work by it.
Mm.
Which brings me to
Yes,
the
I
next point. You
understand.
know
But
what?
can I say
You
something,
know what?
guys?
You know what they say about the law? They say the law is reason absent of emotion.
that's yeah.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
you get.
I
So the
understand,
guy is
but
going to
guys, if
assess.
you're
Mm,
able, sorry, go on.
mm. So if you're going to assess a case, it's unfortunate. I say it with deep pain.
With a heavy
Unfortunately, you
heart.
can't see my heart. Yeah, with a heavy heart. It weighs like 100 kilograms.
We can
But
see your cheeks.
it's oh wow. So yeah, like I was saying, you have
Mm,
to you have to factor that in. It's unfortunate that the people don't believe in the systems, police and all that, and they probably feel like probably you find cases where the rapist is more powerful than the than the victim, which is most cases, because by the time a person pounces on you, they know they have everything they have everything in their power. You get. It brings me an example of who was the lady who did the Twitter thing. I don't know. I
Oh
keep
yeah, but
forgetting her
I
name.
think her name was Bagane or something. Something Bagane.
Something like
Sheena.
that.
Is
She
it
exposed.
Sheena or something?
She exposed the allegedly those that were alleged rapists. Okay, suspects in this case. But when she went to police, it actually the tables turned, because you see, when you choose to go the way of the law, you must be prepared for the consequences. Now she was probably
Actually, she didn't
facing
go to
issues
police.
of oh, she was reported.
She was, yeah,
She was
someone sued that she
oh, okay.
had defamed. She had
So
accused them
that's it.
falsely.
Sometimes now, like in
yeah,
George Floyd's case, it's evident. There's video evidence. Now, when you go to a judge with such evidence, it's beyond reasonable doubt.
this
So
is what
you're
I'm
going to
trying to tell you, Yona. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You can't always have solid evidence in a rape case. Do you understand? Because let me tell you, the
Okay, then
best
what happened?
evidence in a rape case is samples from the victim who has been raped. And that happens in very few instances where the person is raped, that they go to the hospital immediately, the samples are gotten, and then it proceeds to. Sometimes people are in genuine trauma. Like they try to
unfortunately,
absorb
Yeah.
what
you see,
has happened. And then, yes, I
Iris,
understand what you're saying, but this is,
unfortunately,
hold on, Yona, let me just finish. Let me just finish
the
quickly,
law
right?
does not
This is what
the
I
law
wanted
does
to
not
tell you.
blink. Yeah.
Yes,
Very
I
much.
understand that. But if you can arrest and
Charge.
maybe this is no Ugandan law or even, but then listen, if the law can arrest and convict someone on a murder case on based on circumstantial evidence, there's no weapon, there's no body, nothing. Why can that not happen for rape cases?
Uh,
It's a difficult place. Again, it's really difficult.
Exactly, it is a
Yeah, I'm gonna
difficult
say
case, but then what are we doing? What exactly are we doing? Are we just going to let everyone just keep walking
If
peacefully,
no,
graciously, living their best lives while
no,
people's lives are
you
being
see,
destroyed? Because let me tell you something else that's going to happen, right? These 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 girls are going to become teenage moms, right? And then guess what? Society is going to turn back on them and blame them. Of course, we've already gotten it out of the way that some of them have had this sex consensually, but then some of them have genuinely been raped and whatnot. And then society is going to be looking at them like, oh, you are just reckless with your youth. This that. Do you understand? Like it's
I
going to
think
be problem after problem after problem, and some of them are going to fail to get jobs, fail to look after their kids, fail. And sadly, what breaks my heart is they're going to keep being blamed for everything that is happening, even though they did not choose to be in this situation in the first place.
I think what we all
I'm
agree with is that, first of
women
all,
not
this needs to be stopped.
But
It
how? So
needs
that's
to
the
end.
question.
So
How?
so now
If
so
rape
now
cases cannot be proved in court, how are they going to be stopped?
there's
if
a
you
It can't
ask
ray
be
of
me,
hope.
proved.
if you
Yeah,
ask me,
It can't be proved in court.
there's a ray of hope. You see these women organizations. You see what happened to
Mm.
Cosby. You see what happened to R. Kelly. It's women uniting together and actually calling out these men.
Exactly. It's
I feel like
empowering.
organizations.
It's
Yes, I
empowering the women.
understand that. I understand that. But you guys, with people
wait,
like Weinstein, with Cosby, with Jeffrey Epstein,
R.
one
Kelly.
thing that you guys need to understand, R. Kelly, there's strength in numbers. One person was assaulting over 100 people in this case, but with the cases we're dealing with, a few isolated cases. Maybe you can find one person has assaulted two same people. Do you understand? So in that case, what helped those people? Because even with Cosby, he wasn't convicted by all the women he assaulted. Because with some of the women, there was a genuine lack of evidence. It was just a few women who made the case that made him get convicted. With people like Jeffrey Epstein, with Harvey Weinstein, with R. Kelly, it's because of numbers that one person was assaulting
well,
multiple people at the same time. But then what happens in this cases? How are we going to see change if it's isolated cases?
Because you see,
for R.
this
Kelly's case, he already snitched on himself. My mind is
In
telling me
this
no, but my body, my body.
no, okay. No, you
Shame
see,
on
what I
you.
was trying to say. No, wait, what I was trying to say here is
Mm,
the issue is not about the numbers. Twitter was evidence that the numbers are there. But
yeah.
now the question goes to how many of those are willing, considering how society takes rape victims, seeing them as people maybe who, uh, okay, like there's a way they're stigmatized after that whole thing. So I'm saying, how many are able to come out and testify, first of all, because it's very important, testify against
Can I respond to
people.
you quickly before you go forward?
let's
Just
also
Okay.
quickly
cater to
before you go forward.
let's also cater to the boys because they also fall culprit to this act. And then guess what? Men are supposed to be tough, not supposed to cry. You're lying, you're a man, you're stronger than her. Like let's also cater to the fact that boys can also be,
They
they
can
can be
both get
Yeah,
in.
victims.
but before we get there, can I just respond to Yona? You're
Mm,
asking, are the women
Go ahead.
willing to testify
Yes,
and what not?
yes, yes.
One, Twitter and everything, the Me Too movement and everyone who's speaking out is proof that yes, they're willing to testify. But then two, what happens when they testify? The girl you were speaking about earlier got sued. We have the girl in the US who literally was murdered because of speaking out.
I, I, I,
The question is, when they speak out, will they be safe from their predators? That's the question.
But they won't speak. They won't know until they speak out. Because the truth
But
is,
then it's
the
So you're
truth is,
basically telling them gamble with your life, take a shot,
ex-
you know
see
because,
how it
okay,
turns out.
so
no,
sorry to say, but this is the reality of life. If you go to
check this
war,
out.
which is in this case what it is, if you go to war and you're fighting against an enemy, regardless you having good intentions, the person on the other side who has bad intentions has to defend their bad intentions. So when you get
No
into
wonder
a battle, no, when you get into a battle, you must be ready to get some injury. You get, and those are some issues of slander, libel, all that. They'll come defending because they're defending themselves. They do like the law, and so that's also a thing about the law. Like
And the
even
girl in
when
the
you
US
have,
was murdered.
they have a right of hearing. You get, so
yes,
yeah, they
Sakushtalam.
have a right to
Watch it.
hearing.
The girl
Yes,
who was murdered in the US.
in the army, in army, it's called
So you're
collateral
trying
damage.
we've
Just
seen
to
your
like
you're
George
trying
Floyd,
earrings. We've seen your earrings.
just
We've
like
seen your
George
earrings.
Floyd,
Yon-
just
Yona.
like George
Did you
Floyd and the
just
many
say that
others.
was collateral damage?
Yeah,
Yona, are you
like you see,
telling me that
just
are you
Ah,
trying
you
to tell me
see, just like
parent
George
yes,
Floyd, just like George Floyd's case and the many, they died for a cause. You get?
George Floyd, yes. George Floyd, I agree, because change is happening. It's not all going to happen at once. Is it going
But
to be very significant? That
even the
maybe,
step,
because
by
I
the
feel
way,
like it
Iris,
spiraled. Sorry.
are we going to pretend that all these cases, because like Manu asked, what part, or like in what, or like what part of the when
when
does
does
individual personal
responsibility
responsibility
come
come
in?
in?
When do we
Because
take accountability to the person?
because
Personal accountability.
let's look at
It can
let's
start,
look
you
at it
start with
this
those
way.
sick pigs that are
No,
forcing themselves onto other people. How about we
let
start
no,
there
we're
with
looking at
personal?
we're looking at personal responsibility on both sides.
On both
You
sides,
get?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You,
because the
you know
moment,
you can't,
no, Abby,
separate what's
let me give
different homes.
you this
So
case. Let me
my
give you
way
this
is
case scenario. Say, if someone, for example, if I invited you to my place at 2 p.m., it's coming to like midnight, past midnight, 2 p.m., 2 a.m., 2 a.m. to
Previously,
come go
Lucifer.
back to my place. You get, no, I'm just saying, to go to my place. That should be a red flag. You get, it's a red flag. If I'm
I'm
pushing
sorry,
you
by
to drinking,
midnight I'm already in bed, so I don't know who's being called to
exactly,
where at 2
that
a.m.
is you. So how many people do you think you're
Obviously,
with
you're not
at
pregnant right now,
midnight?
so
You get?
How sure are
I'm
you?
not
What do you
saying,
want?
I'm not downplaying. I'm not downplaying the other consequences, rape, defilement, but at a certain point, you have to hold yourself accountable. Every one of us here has been out, has done stuff, has seen people
Okay.
do stuff that is not acceptable to our morals or what we stand for.
Yeah.
And you at a certain point you choose and say, let me walk away.
Yeah.
You get, let me walk away.
Can I use your same example against you?
No problem. It's not a, I'm not R. Kelly.
When
Let me use your same logic against you, Yona, right? Like
Yes.
I said in the beginning earlier, a huge percentage, I don't want to quote percentages that people come at me like, oh, it's actually higher or lower, but a huge percentage of rape cases is by people you know, right?
Is it by people?
Sure.
People you know, people close to you, not strangers. Strangers
For
is
you.
very few.
Is it factual?
Yes,
Is
those
it
are statistics. Those are statistics, actual facts. I'm not making them up. I'm not making them up.
Okay.
Now, Manu is, I don't want to say like a brother. I'm going to say he's my brother, right?
I am going.
Hi.
Listen, and at some point, we were living in the same building, right? So if
Same
like
room,
on my
same
birthday,
building,
there was a
specify.
time. Do you listen?
Same room,
There was
same
a time
building.
on my birthday, Ati.
Yeah. Same room, same building. There's a difference.
Same building.
Yeah, funny.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh, okay. We're in the clear.
So on my birthday, there was a time, and we're like quite a few friends who lived within the same building. So on my birthday, one night, they come to my place at midnight and we start playing music, just dancing, having fun, and what not, right? What time did we go to bed? 3, 4 before they turned off our lights?
It was very late
It was
in the night.
quite late, right?
Yeah, it was late,
Now, I'm telling you, Manu is like a brother to me. My mother knows him. Is she his biggest fan? That's a question for
Buena
another day.
Chore, she has emphasized.
But you understand, like my mom knows
Yeah.
him, his family knows me, and things like that. Like that's how close me and Manu are. He's practically my brother, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's say Manu has a side to him. Meanwhile, I'm not saying anything about Manu. I'm just using this as an example. Let's say Manu has a side to him.
Disclaimer.
See, we are raging. We're celebrating my birthday. Manu all our friends one by one, they start going back to their houses, but me and Manu are still awake. Now, Manu has mannerisms that I'm not aware of, and in all the years we've been friends, he has, maybe he had some sick fantasy about me being with him or something, or maybe he, keeps on giving me the side eye or something. And in that night, maybe he has a drink in his system. Manu does not drink. So
Thank God. Thank
maybe he
God.
has a drink in his system or something. And maybe I've also drunk that night, and Mandem reps me. Are we honestly going to start talking about personal responsibility? Yet this is a person I call my brother, a person I would have trusted with my life, a person that my mother knows about. Do you understand? Where I'm saying sometimes personal responsibility goes out the window. In that case, who's supposed to be, it's his personal responsibility he's supposed to be talking about. Do you understand? Because sometimes you genuinely trust these people as your brothers, as family, and this sick bastard turns around and does such things. Come on. Sometimes, yes, I understand sometimes there is that other side, but if I'm using your own logic against you, sometimes you still have to look at the rapist and be like,
So ideally, let me just bring us back to where we were, and let me say, we all agree that this needs to stop. But the only way
yes,
it can stop is if it's cut or killed through its the core
The
of,
root.
yeah, the root
Yeah.
completely.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
now I think this would be a better way that girls, for the girls that have been raped, this would be a better way of handling things, just a slightly better way. If we have to use the law one way or another, we have to use the law. So if she
Because
has
if you're
been
calling
raped,
for justice,
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
calling for justice, and unless you're advocating for more justice, it has to be the law.
but maybe
Yeah.
the laws are broken. Maybe
And
that's where we
what
No,
I'm
should
saying.
start with
actually,
fixing the
the
laws.
laws are intact. That's what I think.
And
The laws are intact.
let's
So then let's start with
Yeah.
the system, the judiciary system, and whoever is meant to implement these
And-
laws. How about we start there?
so
Because
first let
Mandem
me
looks
finish.
at the rapist has a bigger wallet than the
Manu,
victim, and boom.
Manu was still making a point.
I was
Manu
still
was
trying to
making his
finish
point.
with what I was saying.
What saddens
We-
my soul is
we
that
we
he's
know
definitely arrested for like a week or two, pay his way out, and then he's back on the streets doing the exact same thing because he knows, guess what? I'll just have to pay my way out, or I'll be arrested for a couple of months, which won't kill me, and be back to my book.
And that is why I'm saying maybe perhaps we could use this way, because it seems like we are using the social justice front to do things. It seems like we're using the social justice front to do things. So what if girls, after it has happened, if they can get the strength from somewhere to just go, and if they can report, right? See, we are going to assume that these police people don't care about rape victims, right? They don't care. But you've reported.
You start with the hospital to get a sample before you can go to.
Yeah. So
But what happens?
yeah, let's say let's say they can't go to the hospital first, because really the mind can't work. But if you've gone to the police and
Don't have money to
sorry,
the hospital tests.
yeah.
We're talking about village.
Let me start with the police part. If she can get to the police and just record a statement and say, I have been raped by so and so. It doesn't matter if the police does not believe them. Whatever the police say, all I know is that whenever you go to report a case at the police station, they have to give you an OB number. That's what it's called, right? An OB number. Now, if she obtains that
What
OB,
have you been doing?
what?
Why do you know all this?
Oh no. See, I'm smart and I'm a journalist as well. Whoa.
And by the way, that also, you see, that Iris is asking is also another fact that we have to put
Yeah,
in.
well, you have to tell people, yeah.
You have to tell people have to
I
know
didn't know
these
that.
things.
I know you write a
Information.
statement. I didn't know you're given a certain number of some sort.
They
Thank
give
for
you
it.
an OB number of
It's a
of
file,
a certain
like
case.
a file number or something.
Yeah, file number.
They open up a file.
So
Okay.
you as a girl who has been raped have done your part. You've gone and reported. You have an OB number, so that now when you come to to social media, all you can tweet and say is that, hey, on this day, so and so raped me. I went to the police station and I reported. the officer who, because they usually have tags, if she can be that, she can get herself to record all this. She can say the officer, Constable Ahabwe, gave me,
You don't have to be a
or
constable.
recorded my
Why not
statement.
commissioner?
Constable Ahabwe, Constable Ahabwe recorded my statement under OB number, so such and such. Up until this time, nothing has been done. I need justice.
Yeah.
I need justice. He has been telling me this, and he has been telling that. If you have receipts as well, because sometimes these officers take your number and they start texting you. We know they are sick bastards. We know them. They're really sick bastards. They might want to, for them to help you, they might want to get something else. They might be like, hey, yes, you give me dogo, then hey. So you can
Also,
bring out
just to,
receipts.
sorry, can I just add something small onto you?
Yeah.
A genuine, obviously, I've never been in this situation. I really empathize with everyone who has been in this situation. But something else I would advise is not to give them whatever they want, because then they can use that against you,
yeah.
and maybe say like, oh, see, she bribed me to make a case about this person, but the case was false. So it could be used against you. So if ever someone approaches you for a bribe, I'd really advise you not to take it.
So now when you come to social media and you have all these facts down, it's really, really hard for people to go like, you know what were you wearing? I know there are some sick bastards who will still ask you that, and that's not a question they need to ask. But you've taken some steps, you know. Yes, they have not believed you, but when you now come to social media, then now you can rally behind the Me Too movement, and people can actually come behind. And you know, with this thing, it's a step at a time. But you have to do something in accordance with the law. That's the only bad thing. But
You see,
also now, to bring us back to the 4,000 pregnancies, because that's what we were talking about. I think, frankly, since they have these statistics in a certain area, maybe what the government could do in trying to figure out who these people are.
Statistics.
In the statistics. I don't have the facilities for that, big man. I don't have the facilities. I think what the government can do is at a certain point. I mean,
let me shed light on what you're trying to say. I think the government should register sex offenders. You understand?
Obviously, they should do that. Yeah.
Like that again.
Yeah.
There's proof that hey, he's a registered sex offender. So that's like another step that can be done to curb this rape thing that's going on. Because imagine you have a file and 5 different girls complain about you raping them. They're clearly going to put you away without evidence. It's substantial. You understand?
I that's what I'm saying. I think we need, like, maybe it might be too extreme for the government to ask people for their DNAs, because let's face it, that's
what I was going to.
It might be too extreme, but they might. Man, I don't know whether it happens in the US, but like, I think they do. Like the government, like when they take your fingerprint, I don't know what happens there, but they seem to have a better system.
Your DNA, normally your DNA is only taken if you're a suspect. That's why sometimes when they go to check certain people's DNA, it's not in the system because they've never committed any crime. They don't have. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand. But okay,
so
my point was,
what I would suggest, along with what you're saying, if we're to go with the DNA route, if someone accuses you, the police can call you in so that you voluntarily give up your DNA and it stays in the system. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that when someone else, maybe next time if a person comes to accuse you and maybe that other person has the evidence, I keep calling it biological evidence, has the evidence and it marks up, then maybe you can find that if, say, 2 people have been raped by the same individual and maybe one did not have evidence and the other did, it could help. Not saying that he might be prosecuted for both, but I feel like as a victim, you'd at least be happy that he got convicted no matter who led to the conviction. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
First of
So
all,
another
maybe
thing.
that's a way you could incorporate the DNA.
yeah, we need to wrap
Another
up.
thing that I would think that I would think is necessary to curb this is trying to not to complicate the justice system, like the procedures. They should be shorter than they are, because if you need a victim to go to a hospital and then come back to police
Yeah.
with a hospital letter, then make a statement, and
Maybe
yet some of these
the
by the
police should
time
have
by the time it
doctor.
happens, now for example, like a victim, they need to have like a department. You see a department
Yeah, like a
where you
medical.
have professionals
Mm.
professionals that
That's
handle that.
clever. That's clever.
Get like maybe you have
Oh,
a, a counselor or whatever who's going to take the statement, because these police people are going to start asking
Some
questions that are not
stupid
supposed to
questions,
be
yeah.
asked in this.
100%.
Where were
100%. I
you?
agree with
another,
you.
What were you doing out at
another,
3 a.m.? You get. So there should be
another
a system.
like,
Hmm. It's okay, Abi. You can go ahead.
sorry, interrupting. I saying another way that I feel we can
Oh, it's okay.
curb this is sensitization as much as possible, because we assume that these girls know the steps to take. We assume that, oh, there's a fallback plan, there's a PTU organization that will come to our rescue. But why not also sensitize these girls about the necessary precautions to take, how to protect themselves, the techniques, the
That's
attacks, you understand?
yeah,
Like
that's
the
what
knowledge
Lena was saying, yeah.
be given to them that, hey, when this happens, this is how you go about it. You file a report with whatever case number they give you, the follow through, the necessary steps that you are going to take to ensure that you actually have it, and just basically know what to do so that you can pick on from, so these people can be held accountable for their actions.
I think that's all the time we have for today.
Yeah.
Yep. And thank you guys for joining us today. Feel free to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube to watch more of these videos. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to share. And we hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Adios.
Yeah.
Adios.
Adios. Au
Yeah.
revoir. Au revoir.